Hi, I'm Veda Flores from the Veda Nutrition Show. I'm here today with David Hayden, chef and owner of Il Davide restaurant in Stannerville, California. Today he made a panna cotta with caramel sauce. In the panna cotta today, you're going to use a little special ingredient, I see.
Yes.
What's this?
This is sage. I love sage. It's fantastic. It's more, a lot of people think of sage like Thanksgiving with Brussels sprouts and chestnuts and all sorts of things. I use sage in almost everything. It's great with fish. It's also great with desserts, and we're going to fuse that into the vanilla. I'm going to start off with the cream. Cream's the primary agent for this. So I'm going to add 2 cups of cream, actually reserving a cup for about a half cup to infuse the sage. I'm going to warm up both pans here. I'm going to add 4 cups total, but 3 right now to the panna cotta, actually reserving a half cup for my infusion of sage. Fantastic. I'm going to add a half cup of sugar. There we go. Beautiful. Let that heat up a little bit, and then stir that in until it dissolves. And then I'm going to add some vanilla. Now, the vanilla beans are from Madagascar. I get these. They're so much more flavor in vanilla bean than there is the vanilla extract. And what we do is we slice it down the middle like this. We open up the pod, or the casing, shell, whatever you want to call it, and then you scrape out the bean or the paste inside. So you're going to get this beautiful black, just condensed essence of vanilla. I'm going to add that. Now it's almost coming to a boil. While it's on its way, I'm going to heat up some sage. I'm going to blanch some sage, which means partially cook. Some sage in some water. Just a little bit of water to the pan, just to poach it, blanch it. I'm going to add about 15 sage leaves. Cream's almost there. This is such an easy dessert to make. And then I'm going to pour some water into my thickener, which is a gelatin, and it's 100% protein, so it's gluten free. And it's used as a thickening agent instead of egg yolk or any cornstarch or anything like that. So I'm going to mix that up a little bit with 3 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of gelatin. And as my sage is poaching, I'm going to add that to a blender. It's perfect. Just turns color a little bit. That's almost to a boil right here. We're going to turn that off. Let that sit. And add a little bit of cream to that. The remaining half cup. Going to blend it. I'm going to infuse that into the panna cotta. Mix that up a little bit. And it's almost ready to go. We're almost ready to add the thickener to it. Now I'm going to strain this as well. Before I put it into a nice little cup like this, I'm going to strain it. Okay. So now we have the cream to a boil. And I'm going to add the thickener here. So it's almost like a gelatin. Comes like Jell-O. It's thick like that, and that's going to be our thickening agent for the cream. Gluten-free. I love it. So we're going to mix that up. So everything's dissolved. How easy is that? It's so easy. That's it. And then we're going to strain it.
So fun. This is great. Are you having fun?
I'm having a great time. Okay, here we go. Lovely, isn't this? I love doing this. I love straining stuff for some reason. Chefs love to strain things because that just means you're done. You're on your way home. The finished product is about to arrive. Your sauces, we do this with all sorts of like demi-glasses and everything, so it's really, really cool. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to do this very country-esque way. So now we have our sage-infused panna cotta, which is ready to be poured into these little glasses there. Look at that, like a pro, huh? Shouldn't speak too soon. I dropped a little bit there. Okay, so we're going to let this set up for about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours in the refrigerator. Now this will make about 6 to 8 of these. depending on how many ounces. This is 3-ounce glass right here. And then we have our finished product right here, which is, look at that.
Oh, that's
Consistency is really nice. It's like almost a custard, and I'm going to add a salted caramel.
Okay. Let's see.
Caramel, which we're going to bake. All right.
I'd love to put the salt on.
Just a pinch.
Just a pinch of the black salt.
You don't want a lot of salt because it's going to overpower everything, and you don't want to. Basically, in the restaurant business, when we have something like this is the initial bite. You don't want to surprise people too much because then they'll automatically, their palate will be disturbed a little bit. So we want to just make it really nice and easy.
Okay.
What brings this all together? Okay, you have the cream, alkaline. You have the caramel that's been salted. You have the salt itself. It's going to give it texture. Now, what really pulls all this together is an acid. And the acid I chose was a really nice, it's called Giuseppe Balsamic. It's an aged balsamic. It's about 20 years old. And I put just a couple of drops on there. Would you like to do that? I'll put a little design there. Just a drop here, drop here. There you go. Look at that. Piece of mint on that.
The gluten-free cookies are made with gluten-free vanilla.
Yes.
And it's wonderful because you're using a gluten-free, very fresh vanilla bean.
And you can even put the bean on there. Well, look at that. Does it get any better than that, or what?
It doesn't get any better than that. It's beautiful. Now, this balsamic vinegar looks a little thick. Did you boil it down at all?
No, that just comes like that. When it's aged, it just thickens up a little bit.
It's aged and it's thicker,
Yes.
so the aging, what does that give? More of a...
little more, I think, a sweeter flavor to it, less acid. Yeah.
Sweet and less acid. Can you put alcohol at this stage?
Very, very little. Just an essence of something like cream de menthe or, you know, like a cassis or something like that. But I would really be careful because it can separate.
Okay, so nothing like a scotch or vodka.
Not at this point. Yeah, it might curdle or separate. Yeah.
Okay.
You want it to set up really fun like this, so it's a very good custard consistency. Okay.
And so if I wanted to do a design on the bottom, how would I go ahead and do that?
Okay.
Caramel on the bottom.
Well, you could put a gelée on the bottom, which is a reduced compote with a little bit of the thickener, the gluten-free gelatin. And you can start off with that by cooking it down and then putting it on the bottom and then letting it chill for a while and then coming back and then pouring this on top, letting that chill for a while and then putting another type of panna cotta on top of that, if you like. You could even lean the glass over like that and have it half filled up, so you can have like an angle on it and put and then when it's the finished product, you can put the other panna cotta on top of it, which is in liquid form. Then you'd have sort of a triangle in the glass, kind of.
That's
unique.
decorative. I've seen
Yeah.
that. That was very popular. Yeah.
That's a labor of love,
restaurants.
doing that.
Yeah, labor of love. And who doesn't have more time than people who make Jell-O?
It takes a couple of minutes, and it only has about 3 or 4 ingredients in it, which is basically the main component. It's going to be sugar, butter, cream, and some hand-harvested sea salt from France, some flake salt. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, start off with a pan over medium to high heat. I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of water. So water and sugar together. It's a good mixture so far, and that helps break the sugar down a little bit. I'm going to add about a cup of sugar. You can hear it starting to bubble down a little bit.
That looks fantastic.
Okay, now it's starting to turn color. It's starting to reduce down. It's starting to caramelize. So it's really nice and hot right now, about 400 degrees. So we want to reduce the heat just a little bit to keep it going consistently without burning it. Now it's turning color, and it's getting that caramely color. That's beautiful. Right? And it's almost ready to go.
Oh, it's butternut color. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I'm going to add my cream first. This is organic cream from Strauss. Beautiful. It's about a half cup of cream. All right, see how it's bubbling up like this?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Okay.
Starting to bubble like this, I'm going to add my butter now, which is about 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, a couple pinches, maybe about say about a tablespoon of salt. I like it; it dissolves better, and it's, sharpness to it, as say an iodized salt would have, less minerality to it. And then once everything's dissolved and mixed in, the sugar becomes just perfect consistency right here, as you can tell. So Now you could do a couple of things with this. You let it cool. Number one, you can actually add it to an ice cube tray if you like, and make little caramel cubes and put a like a lollipop stick in it, right? And make little caramel sticks if you like. And what I do is I pour it into a squeeze bottle because it helps me create decorations on the plate and everything. And as I did with like this, and then I can put it on my dessert like that. And also I can save it, I can freeze it, and use it again and just heat it up as I go. So be very careful because it is hot.
Okay. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's got a little salt to it, so it's that salty, savory, sweet, wonderful flavor.
Savory, sweet flavor. It's great. So you're going to put it on the panna cotta. We're going to make little cubes for our children, and then what else are we going to do with it?
Oh God, you can pour it over ice cream. You could use it for layered desserts. You could even, it's going to, what I like to do is make twirls out of it, sugar twirls. So what I do is I take a cookie sheet pan and I spray it. I just wipe it with a little bit of butter, and then I'll take this and I can create designs, like this. And then once it dries, it all stays together, and I take that off the plate, and I can point that out of a dessert or top it with something, and it becomes almost like glass.
It's not about living without, but using ingredients to create a harmonious life. I'm Veda Flores, a holistic nutritional educator, interested in keeping you healthy. Your outward appearance of size and shape is up to you. However, let me direct your group or class to a diet that best serves the inner you, focusing on top allergens that cause GI imbalance, such as gluten, casein, oxalates, complex carbohydrates, salicylates, or phenols. Together, let's turn your ideas into actions.
We're here today in my kitchen and we're making avocado chocolate frosting. You may think that sounds strange, but in the Hispanic culture, it's very common. We're replacing butter with an alternate source of butter fat, and that's avocado. We'll work with 1 avocado, slice that in half, and make sure and look and see that there's no brown areas. We'll add that to our bowl that already contains a 1/4 cup of agave, and we'll just add in 1/4 cocoa powder. We'll give it a good mix, and it's best to mash the avocado first. Once the avocado is mashed, it really is a fast stir. So as you can see, it's a little green and it's a little brown. So make sure and continue to mix it until it's finally stirred in. This is a great alternative to using butter. It's best to mix this in a stainless steel bowl, and your friends are going to love it.
You know, a lot of people have been wondering about the paleo diet, and it actually has many different names. We call it the paleo diet because Paleolithic man ate this way. It was actually before agriculture began. When man was a hunter-gatherer, he would hunt for his goods, he would hunt for animals, he would hunt for honey as well. The gathering was a type of hunting. He would get tubers from the ground, fruit from trees. He could also cook. That didn't come till later on, but he did. When he ran out of animals, he had to move. He was nomadic. When people started getting great in numbers, they had to live together in communities, and they would out-hunt the area around them in no time. So we had to come up with another way of feeding ourselves. So we began to eat the grass seeds, which are the cereals, which are wheat and buckwheat and couscous and millet, etc. We also began to develop legumes, and the legumes are peanuts, chickpeas, lentils, and all the different beans. We could grow these foods very readily, and this gave us a lot of calories, and but it ended up giving us way too many carbohydrates. We ended up also getting the toxins that are in these foods, which at a later time I'll go into in great detail. But we have to also call the paleo diet the pre-agricultural diet. It turns out that that's actually what people were eating in the Pacific Islands as well. So it's called the Pacific Island diet. They added a lot of coconut to it, which turns out to be great because of these short chain fatty acids that are in coconut. They were roasting pigs and chicken, and they had all kinds of tuberous plants and fruit on the island. It's almost identical to paleo and pre-agriculture. Now, because it's a high-fat diet, you are producing ketones in the blood, which are very nourishing, and it's also called the ketogenic diet. When you end up eating this way, you leave a whole pile of toxins behind. All of the legumes have lectins in them. The grains have opiates and wheat agglutinins in them. We leave that all behind, so it's also called the toxic-free diet. So the next time somebody says paleo, think, oh yeah, I know that. That's the toxic-free diet, the ketogenic diet, the Pacific Island diet, and the pre-agricultural diet. Thank you.
got an 1/8 of a cup of butter that I've been softening and whipping. Let's go ahead and add 1 egg. Rather than chocolate chips, we're using chocolate bars. So this gives it a lighter texture and softer quality to the cookie. Let's mix those up. And now it's time to add our sugar. About 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and the flakes from the chocolate bar actually start to mix with the sugar, Rapadura sugar. So it's a beautiful addition that gives a nice caramel texture and flavor. And let's mix that in and see how it tastes. This gluten-free chocolate chip cookie mix is something that I feature in my cooking classes. Our xanthan gum right here on the right is actually used as a thickening agent, and the baking powder is used as a leavening agent as well. So it's really a nice addition. And we're also using a cup of white rice flour, nice light and fluffy white rice flour. And we're also adding a 1/4 cup of flax meal. Now we're set, we've got a nice stiff batter, and we're ready to drop this on a cookie sheet. We'll roll these into balls. See how nice and moist it is? And we'll drop these on our cookie sheet and bake for 8 to 12 minutes. I know that's quite a range, but depending on how your oven cooks and the evenness of your oven really depends on the cooking time. So we'll want to make sure and smell the cookies. When you can smell the cookies and that chocolate is melting, you'll know when they're finished. Thank you for joining me on Veda Nutrition, the gluten-free show. So I hope that your cookies turn out as great as mine. Make sure and find me on Twitter at Veda Nutrition or on Facebook at glutenfreehome.org or visit my website at glutenfreehome.org. Thank you very much and enjoy your cookies.